It's time to whip off that bra, pour a glass of your favorite wine, and join us for this week's Drinks at Six podcast. Hi there, and welcome to Drinks at Six. This is our weekly podcast where we talk about anything and everything that women love to talk about over a glass of wine at the end of the day. So today, we've got some great topics lined up. We're going to start off with, what shit are you getting too old for? I think we got a lot of things we can say about that. We're also going to talk about some great advice 50-year-old women give their 40-year-old selves, and we're going to give our 40-year-old selves are going to give our 30-year-old selves some advice too. And then we're going to finish it off with like a heavy topic. Is it okay to sort of have a separate life outside of your marriage, apart from your spouse? So, Monica, we're here. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's been
great to be back.
Great to be back. Yeah, after a long week. Holy.
I know.
Did you have a good Valentine's Day?
Yeah, it was lovely.
Oh, good.
I love Valentine's Day.
Do ya?
Yeah.
Oh.
I get all lovey and stuff.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I saw your
you
foot
thought my
just
foot
moved
was
up,
up.
and I actually thought we had a rodent in the cave. Sorry about that. They're nice boots,
It's a
though.
size 10 rodent.
Well, before we move on, you usually have you get a text from the universe.
Yeah.
But I'm noticing this Isis-like ring. Like, I think of, Isis in her bracelets
Oh,
and,
okay.
her awesome,
Yeah.
hot little superhero outfit. And that ring, I think would go with it. But that's beautiful. What's
is
the story about?
beautiful.
Is this a Valentine's
So-
Day gift?
No, but it sort of is, I guess.
From
in a
you
weird
to you?
way.
From the
So,
universe.
I have to tell you, I had a bit of a meltdown last week. Not a meltdown. What is a meltdown exactly? That's when you really lose it, right?
That's what chicks go through when men do something really bad and we show an emotion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyway, I went over to my mom's house, and I was just having a challenging week. I was having the overwhelmed feeling again, right? And she said, "What is it that's overwhelming you?" And I said, "Oh, it's just fear. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of this." And she said, that's interesting, because your father was like that, and his mother was like that, your grandmother, and you are that it's like going down the line. It's just like you inherited the eyebrows, you've now inherited the worrying. She said, you got to stop that pattern. And we had this really good conversation about how I was going to consciously really look at this and stop myself in my tracks, right? So anyway, later on that afternoon, Wayne came over, and we were going to have dinner with my mom. And Wayne loves going through, my mom has, different things from the family, little heirlooms and stuff. So he says to my mom, "Do you think we could pull out your jewelry box and just look at some of the jewelry, from your family? And I want to hear the stories." So I'm, of course, on the laptop working on my website, whatever. And those two are going on, and my mom's telling him all these war stories, and it's wonderful. And all of a sudden, so the reason I'm saying this story relates to the universe is because something came to me that I needed in that moment, and I asked for it, and it appeared in a wonderful way. So they're going through all this jewelry, and all of a sudden my mom hands me this ring. And this one. And so the ring, we could take a picture of it and post it, but it's a gold ring, and it has a platinum diamond shape in the center of it with a little diamond in it, but it looks like a superhero ring. So she says to me, "Look at this ring. I haven't seen this in years. We've gone through this jewelry box a million times. My mom's never pulled this ring out." And she said, "Can you believe this? Do you know who this ring belongs to?" And I said, "Yeah, that's my Oma's ring on my dad's side." I said, "I can actually picture her chubby little hand around it, the European lady switching the ring on." I said, "I can't believe it. I can't believe you found that ring." And I said, "Mom, one day, can you leave me that in your will?" And she goes, "Why am I going to leave it to you in my will? If you want it, take it now. What am I going to do with it?" So I put it on my finger, and it fit me perfectly. And she said, "Remember what we were talking about before? I don't know if you want to wear that ring." And I said, "That's exactly what I want. Why I need to wear it. Every time I worry, this is now my touchstone to remind me to stop the pattern, to break it."
That's a good idea.
So I have not taken it off since, and it's helping.
Yeah.
Every time I get those feelings of like overwhelm and I can't control this and what's going to happen, I look at the ring and I say, this problem does not belong to me. It came from my grandmother and it was passed down, and I give it back to her now.
It's like a blame-storming ring.
It is. It's cool.
It's beautiful.
But I just thought the circumstances were amazing.
Yeah.
That I was asking for something.
Yeah.
And there it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. We need to chime in the
Yeah, I need to turn my universe ball on.
Yeah, turn on the universe ball.
There it is. Orange, lime, green. Okay.
It's kind of like a mood ball, right?
It is.
I'm going to take a picture of Monica's mood ball, and I'm going to put it on our website for you, on our Instagram.
On the Instagram.
Well, that is, that's a gorgeous ring, but it's an interesting story. It's funny, the timing on that, huh? Mm-hmm. Okay, well,
yeah.
You brought some interesting topics today, and I really love the what shit are you getting too old for? I feel like my grandma when I say that. I'm too old for this shit. Except my grandma's never swore. So what do you want to say about that?
Well, what do you want to say about that? You tell me.
I feel like the list is endless.
What are you getting too old for? I it's so funny because before we do the podcast, of course, we're trying to think of great topics. And I was thinking about how just tired I feel of some stuff. It's like things I've been doing my whole life. And it's not like getting too old for this shit is one thing, but it's not even about getting older. It's just about how many more times am I going to do that? And I don't even want to do it. I didn't want to do it in my 20s. Why am I doing it now? Yeah. Right?
Like what?
Yeah. So anyway, I found this hilarious blog about it that we can share. But so it was great. Like this blog that I read, she had a few things. So one of them, we can talk about them all individually, but one of them was I'm too old for this game playing shit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I'm too old for this drama shit.
Yeah.
I'm too old for this trying to be perfect shit.
Yes.
I'm too old for shitty friendships.
Yeah.
And, those were like her 4 top ones. So, it's just hilarious because, when we look back on our 20s and 30s, and you look back, like even with the shitty friendship thing, you look back and you go, what the hell was I thinking there with that person? And at the time, like it just reinforces that we really come here into this life. We don't know anything about anything and we can't compare ourselves to other people, right? Like we're just trying to navigate and figure things out as we go along. But what an empowering feeling to be in your 40s and finally say, stop the madness. I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, we need like a ring touch tone.
Yeah.
Like what you have on your finger.
Exactly, we do. And think of even relationships with men and the game playing that we used to do. And we've talked about this before with Facebook and everything that people do now. I can't imagine being single and have broken up with a guy and he's still my Facebook friend and I'm trying to show him that,
I got you.
Yeah, or even like using it as a manipulator to get him into my life, or I don't know. I just think living raw and what you see is what you get, and if you don't like me, then screw you is just such a much better way to be than drama and trying to create something that's not really there. And that's the stuff that I feel too old for. I also feel it in my business. I remember when I was younger, I'd be like, oh, but they're doing that and I should do this and I should hop on the bandwagon and I should show this and I should be that. Now I'm like, you know what? I got my people.
Yep.
I want to have my people. I want my tribe. I want people that understand me and I understand them. I don't want to attract people that don't get me because they belong to a different tribe.
Yep, that's
What's
right.
What's that thing about the monkeys that's always on Facebook? Not my monkeys, not my circus. It's true.
I had a girl in my company, my agency used to say, not my pig, not my farm.
Yeah, that's good too. Oh. What about you, Jacqueline? Like, what's something that you feel that you're too old for this shit? Like maybe something you used to do, and you're just like,
people pleasing. People pleasing is a huge one. Mm-hmm. I'm tired of it. I have no time for it anymore. I'm not saying like I do believe there are the sort of the social cues you have to follow, but I used to just like put myself out there and do things I hated to make other people happy. I'm done with that. Like, I have a family, I have a kid, she needs me more than anyone. Like, you don't need me at your cocktail party, I'm done with the pressure. I'm done with going to a party and wanting to leave early and having everyone guilt you out for leaving. I'm done with it. If you're going to make me feel crappy for leaving, I'll just ghost. I will just say I'm going to the washroom and disappear. Yes. I'm done with the guilt. I'm done with giving a rat's ass about, other people's opinions on what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing any more than anybody else does, and so screw off. Like, I'm doing it the way I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm done people judging, how me or parents today are raising our kids. I think I'm just done caring so much and taking it in and trying to conform to what other people think. And what I'm not done with and what I'm starting is to I'm putting myself first, my opinions first, and belief behind myself. So if I'm doing something, I know I could be doing it wrong, but I'll figure it out. Yeah. I don't need to be told. If I don't want to go to an event, I'm not going. So I'm just, I'm done with the pressure. I think I just want to kind of do things at my own pace and kind of hide out in my own little family and work on my own little career.
Yes, I love that. And it's so cool because now you know who you are.
Mm-hmm. You don't need that kind of influence because really, like, if someone's putting a lot of pressure on you and you put them in my chair right now, what the hell makes them an expert? What do they know about my life?
Yeah.
They'd be sitting here saying the same thing, like, how do you like it when people tell you what to do or how to do it? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I used to have friends that I stopped hanging out with because the pressure to go out all the time, it didn't matter if you went out 9 out of 10 times. If you didn't go out that 10th time, you heard about it. Like, I'm just so done with that.
Yeah, exactly.
And, and sort of keeping my thoughts to myself. The best stuff that comes out is when I put pen to paper, and that's my opinion.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's kind of like, well, if you don't like it, you don't have to tune into the podcast. You don't have to read the blog. You don't have to read the copy I just wrote for a client. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to like what I do. Mm-hmm. You just don't have to be a part of it. Right. But I think we forget when we're younger we have that choice. Or we don't know we have that choice. Maybe we don't know we have that choice. I think I didn't realize I had that choice. I think I felt I had to do certain things a certain way. And I was raised to be a people pleaser. I think that's wrong.
Me too. I was totally raised to be a people pleaser. And I think too, the other part of it is maybe, when we're Leos, right? So we like adoration. We like to be recognized for things. And when you're a little kid and you do something great, and your parents tell you how great it is and that's amazing. And then you always want to do things to make them happy, which turns into the people-pleasing thing too. Like, you can almost, as a kid, I can see how you create that, and then when you're in a bad mood or you're unsettled, your parents are like, what do you do? Why are you being like that? Like, you're always so happy, and so, it just sort of turns itself into this monster of, I don't know, but yeah, it's better now, like, being an adult. And I felt good going over to my mom's house and just having a good cry and spilling about all my insecurities. Like, I wasn't there to please her. I was there to... We're totally getting off the topic. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know where we are now.
I don't know where we're going, but... yeah.
The wine talking.
It is.
But, like with Maddie...
what would you teach her
Well, I'm teaching her right now stuff that I was... totally the opposite. Like when I was little and an aunt and uncle came over, a friend of the family, go give them a hug, go give them a kiss. I don't want to give them a kiss. Yeah. And if Maddie's not comfortable, I don't want her to do it because I don't want her to think that she has to do it, because what's going to happen when the wrong person approaches her?
Right. And she needs to trust her own gut and her own instincts. She has to go with her gut, and if she doesn't want to hug someone, she shouldn't hug them. No. Do you remember when you were a kid? I remember my parents would have parties, and I'd have to go around and hug and kiss everybody before
I didn't
bed.
have to hug and kiss, but I had to go say goodbye to everybody, and I thought, You know what? Why would you send your kid out like that? That's very awkward for a child with a bunch of adults, right? And they're drinking. Like, sorry, but my kid's not going to do that. And also, a neighbor told me this, which was really good advice. Apologizing. Not making Maddie apologize if she doesn't want to. And it sounds really bad, but when I thought about it, so if Maddie's playing with a friend and she does something bad, she hurts her friend, she won't share a toy, whatever, and I say to her, say sorry or you're not going to play with the dollhouse anymore. She'll say, I don't want to say sorry. Okay, that's fine, because if you just force her to say sorry all the time, she doesn't understand what sorry is about, and it just becomes like a verbal thing, like, sorry, you know, just to get out of trouble.
Right.
But now it's like, okay, go upstairs. You're not allowed to play with the dollhouse. You don't have to say sorry, but you have to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so she's not being rewarded for it, but she's not getting what she wants, right? So if you've been mean to your friend, you don't want to apologize, that's fine, but you will not be allowed to play with your friend until you figure out why you are not allowed to play with your friend. Till you figure out the true meaning of what just happened there. Like, just a random sorry doesn't teach her anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pretty interesting lesson.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to say, sorry, you know, and I think I grew up with, oh, that'll get me out of shit, just say sorry. But I want her to really understand what the consequences of what she's done.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
that's
totally
way
off topic, but yeah, the shit I'm done with. I'm done with, you know, I'm done with the old way of doing things.
Mm-hmm. And I'm also done with, like, exercise, like being so obsessed with exercising to the point of, like, I will just run myself ragged to get in the workout or the whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I'm more about, like, let's be a little more gentle here.
Yeah.
Today I need some sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep is also a valuable. Like I realize sleep is the most valuable asset right now.
Yeah. And I think, you know, that's the thing too, exercise, right? Like, you feel like, I've got to look like I'm still 30. I've got to be toned and whatever.
Yeah.
So what? Like,
No.
I mean, I think you need to exercise to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I need exercise to get energy. But I don't need to look like a bathing suit model. No. So, are you done with putting the pressure on yourself?
No.
Is that something else you're done with?
No, not yet.
No? All right. What's some other shit you're done with?
What else am I done with?
What?
Oh, you know what else I'm done with? You know how when you first get together with a lot of women do, I don't know if you do, Jacqueline, but you get together with your husband and then you feel like it's your responsibility to be in touch with his side of the family,
Yes.
to recognize birthdays, to call it
Yep.
Christmas.
Yep.
Done.
I don't,
No.
I let him plan all the
Good.
events on his side.
Yeah.
I'll tell him, like, here's the date I'd like to do it,
Yeah.
but I'm not getting involved in it.
Good. Oh, yeah, and actually,
I look after my family. Like, why do I have to look after two
yeah,
families?
and I think I'm done. I shouldn't say I'm done with that because I never did it. I'm done with feeling guilty about not doing it. If he doesn't want to do something or doesn't plan something, or that's his thing,
Yeah.
and respectfully so. I don't know. You know, I have a different relationship with my family than my husband does with his. So why am I trying to overstep and make his relationship the same as what I have? Like, that's not fair either, right?
No, and I get that women are better planners than men, but when it comes down to initiating, you know, doing all that, like, once a plan is in motion, like, if we have to work around a schedule, which we do, like, if it's Christmas, what day are we doing Christmas with my family? What day are we doing it with yours? You know, I'll get him to plan. Whoever comes to us first and says we're having it, that's the date that gets it first. If my parents say we're doing it Friday, my parents are doing it Friday, and then we have to work around that with his family. If his family comes and says first that we're doing it, then my family will work around it. I'm not putting myself in the middle. I'm done with putting myself in the middle of it. Oh,
God, that's a good one, too. I'm done with that, too.
The drama.
The middle monkey in the middle is awful.
Yeah.
I can't stand that. And
Well,
I
it's
did
so much
that.
stress.
Oh, yeah.
And then you feel like the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden, you're orchestrating all the, like, you're the, yeah.
Oh, it's a horrible feeling. And God love my dad because that was his coping thing. But I remember my mom and I would have, you know, we get along great now, but like any mother-daughter, like the teens are hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my mom and I would have an argument, and she'd be so mad at me, and then my dad would say, go and make it right with your mother. I don't care what you have to say, but go and fix it now. Like, he didn't care about the two sides. Like,
Yeah,
he
didn't want the drama.
He looked at who's the easier one to manipulate in this situation. Monica, go fix it. You know?
Yeah.
And I carried that on. Like, I always did this monkey in the middle crap where I'd come between people and try to like resolve problems, and I realized that is...
Oh, it's too hard. It's too emotionally taxing, right? I understand as a kid you've got certain, your parental authorities will tell you to do stuff. But as an adult, that's when you can say, yeah, okay, I had to do it, but now I'm done with it. That falls under that bucket.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'd be curious to know that anyone listening, what are you done with? What shit are you done with in your 30s, 40s, 50s? What are you done with? Because I bet you a lot of the stuff we hear is probably very much the same, caring what other people think, wearing makeup to the Loblaws, who cares,
Yeah.
Being caught in my Lulus and not an outfit,
Exactly.
And fighting and drama and blah, people pleasing. I bet
Yeah.
there's a lot of that. And speaking of done with this shit, I'm done with being called names. And my Maddie moment this week.
Oh, boy.
What happened? Well, it's not really a Maddie moment. I'm going to call this one a Maddie moment, but it's a daddy moment. So Maddie loves Star Wars, even though she's 4 and she doesn't really get it. But we have this little kids version of Star Wars, this storybook that we read every night. And so Maddie has changed her name. She's Princess Leia now. And she... we were playing upstairs, and her and Greg were playing, and I was downstairs getting us ready to go somewhere. And... Maddie was giving names to all her stuffies, and Greg was, I don't know, Darth or Han Solo, somebody good. And then I was coming upstairs, and she goes, oh no, I didn't save a name for Mummy. And he said, she could be Jabba the Hutt.
He said that? Did you slap him?
I gave him that death stare that said, sleep with one eye open, mofo. And he said, but we're just playing a game. I'm like, I'll throw you in the forest covered in deer blood, chase you with a bow and arrow. That's a game too, honey. Anyway, good times. God. Good times in the marriage.
Good times.
So sort of on the vein of... our what shit are you getting too old for?
Yes.
You sent a cool thing about wise advice, the 40-year-old self from women in their 50s, and I read some of them, but I wanted you to maybe highlight 2 or 3 great pieces of advice that the 50-year-olds are giving the 40-year-old selves.
Well, I'm pulling it up right now, and this is great because it's so awesome. We have quite a few listeners in their 50s, and I love it because sometimes we talk to them offline and they have some really great advice. And so one of them is start running now. It's way more enjoyable than you think. And if you start at 40 rather than at 51, you'll have a whole extra decade to do it in.
Running. Okay, so what about, that's cool. I like that because I can see the benefits, not just the physical benefits of running, but clearing your head, having some time to yourself. Yeah. Is that what, that's all it says, right?
Yeah, that's all it says, but I think it is a good one. I keep thinking about that too. I need something to, get a sweat going, and, it's good. So there's another, sort of tied into that, one of the women said that I've also looked into male menopause and have taken note that testosterone starts to rapidly decrease, which causes loss of muscle mass. So this isn't just women, right? This is women and men. And so the way to stave off this is to build muscle. But the other good thing about that, when you think about it this is more for men, but when you think about it for women, it's so important for bone density as well.
Yeah.
We do have to start thinking about osteoporosis, all that stuff. So if you can start, even push-ups, pushing your own body weight is a really great way to...
Have you ever done plank? Plank's awesome.
Yeah. It's great. Okay, this one was kind of funny. So also, if you smoke, quit. Hello.
Yeah.
The other one was stop thinking you're a bad person for wanting to be involved with someone who is financially secure. It doesn't mean you're a gold digger. It means you're responsible and you want to be involed with someone else who is responsible.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. And, yeah, I mean, that would be even something to tell a woman at any age. Or
I think that's...
a man at any age.
Yeah, I think that's smart.
Finding a partner.
Men are always trying to be with me for my money.
Oh, me too. I can't get rid of them.
I know, it's like everyone wants to take on my debt. Okay, anything else?
Yeah, so this is good. Be a bridge and a problem solver, even if it just means getting two wearing parties in a room to solve the problem through communication.
That kind of feels like
middleman. Don't like that one.
That's what we just kind of talked about, saying I'm done with that shit.
Yeah, exactly. We're not into that. Take off your makeup every night and moisturize and enjoy the sun with a hat and sunscreen. We have thick
sunscreen.
Hair. We're okay.
Sunscreen.
We have thick hair.
Yeah, but sunscreen. Totally.
Every minute with your dog is precious because they aren't going to make it into your 50s with you.
Oh, sad. Okay, stop reading now.
Now talking about my baby.
Now
okay.
we're depressed.
So, all right, but let's take this a step further, Jacqueline.
Okay.
And what would we talk to girls in their 30s about now? Like, if there's a woman...
Oh, I got one.
Okay, tell me.
Life does not end at 40, so don't end your life before 40 by marrying someone just to get married, just to tick off the old marriage had a kid box.
Yeah, love it.
Because
That's
you know what? That's a worse way to ruin your life. Because you can't get out of that mess. You can never disentangle from that, you know?
No.
And having a child is an amazing experience, but only when you do it with the right person, and the right person is worth holding out for. Mm-hmm. So, you know what? Learn how to renovate, learn how to use tools, learn how to manage your money. You know what? Go save your money, go on the big ticket trip, buy the big ticket item, buy a fixer-upper. You know, like, don't wait for him.
Yes, I love that.
And if your ovaries are shriveling, have a baby on your own.
Mm-hmm.
But just don't sell your soul for all this stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be my advice.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, yours? You gotta have a piece.
Yeah. I think, my advice to any woman that's thinking about starting a business or has like an entrepreneurial spirit is just like start as small as you possibly can and don't get sucked into people telling you that you need to invest money to be bigger and to be, you know, more recognized and to like get your name out there and blah blah blah. They're all just looking to make a buck themselves. It's amazing what one person can do. And and that whole idea about building your tribe, like there's like a weird bulge in the girl cave.
What? It's my table from the man cave next door.
Get the man cave out of here. Jacqueline's adjusting our curtains. But you know what I mean? Like, even the whole, like, you can build a tribe so beautifully. Like, you can blog, you can create a product, you can Instagram, you can like there's all this stuff for free. I would love to hear from a woman in her 30s that has made it by using all of these free resources to get her name out there. And then, you know, let those big people approach you and hand you the $1 million to...
Yeah, once you've got... You know what? Yeah. Once you have an established following, you become the brand. So...
That's right.
The other advice I would give to someone in their 30s is when you're unhappy in a job and the job is not the right fit...
Get out!
Get out. Don't feel bad because if you feel bad, then just think about the fact that if that company... loses a client or changes budgets, they are not going to feel bad about firing your ass. So don't feel bad. Get out. If you're unhappy, move. And shit or get off the pot. If you're unhappy in your job, stop wasting all your friends' time, your boyfriend's time, your husband's time by complaining.
Yes.
I hate that. I've heard people complain about the same damn job for 2 years, and you're like, and you're still there?
Yeah.
Then you're the problem, and I would hate to be in your toxic work environment because I'm sure you're not making it a sunny place. Like, if you're not happy, make a move.
Yes, and you know what else I hate?
Get stuck in your fear.
Loathe.
Hate what?
I loathe is when people, like this sense of entitlement, right? So let's say you've landed your dream job, or you've landed in an industry that is your dream, and you have a wonderful boss, and they say to you, you know what, this is the budget, like this is what we can pay you. You have an opportunity to learn this, this, and this. Don't go into entitlement mode and be like, well, if I'm going to stay till after 6, you're going to have to pay me. Suck the company dry of whatever information you can learn from. Work the later hours. Find someone to mentor. Like,
treat it like an education.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly right, Jacqueline. It's free education. Like, I can't stand this. Well, I loved what I was doing, but I left because they didn't pay me enough. Well, okay, I'm sorry, but you're 30 years old.
Yeah.
What do you?
You're not there yet.
No.
Yeah. You haven't even proven yourself.
Yeah.
I had a friend who got a general BA in English Lit and moved out west and was working at a restaurant. And it was really slow at night, and they asked her to clean the base of all the tables because, I mean, it's stuff that's got to get done. And, you know, you're in a restaurant and you aren't serving tables and you can't just stand there. So she came back to us, and she was so pissed. I can't believe this. I shouldn't have had to do that. I have a BA. Well, if you have a BA and a BA is all that in a bag of chips, then why are you waitressing? And if you're in a waitressing job, you have to do waitressing duties. You really can't complain about it. You sound like a dummy.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. There was a great TED Talks that I saw the other day where a human resources director, and I missed the first part where she said she was from. She was talking about, should you hire the Harvard grad or should you hire the underqualified person? The person who's jumped around in their resume, who, you know, doesn't have a Harvard education or a, you know, Ivy League school, over somebody who is Ivy League, who's got like a, you know, a really high grade point average, et cetera, et cetera. And her advice was amazing, and I will post the TED Talk because she said the people that come from less, the people that come from like abused homes, orphanages, broken families, like very severe circumstances, they're scrappers, and they know how to fight. And they know how to get ahead because they know how to make a better life for themselves, most of them. Yeah. And she talked about one case was, I think it was, she's like, so picture this kid who comes from an orphanage, like leaves the country, ends up in an orphanage, no education, poor family life, whatever. I can't remember the whole, anyway, it's Bill Gates. Most of the entrepreneurs, 30% of the most successful entrepreneurs in the U.S. are the scrappers. The problem is with the Harvard kids, they don't know how to fail. They've never learned failure. So when failure appears in a job or an obstacle appears, they don't know how to deal with it because they've never had to deal with failure. Yeah. But these people know how to deal with failure. They know how to look it in the eye, and they know how to conquer it.
And they don't look at it as failure.
And they don't see it as failure. They see it as opportunity.
I have to tell you a funny story. So I was doing my trade show, and I'm not going to mention any names, but I'm always about, like, how do we bring in more business with cold calling? Like, what is, and now it's harder because with social media, everything is about a lifestyle and a feeling, and it's not about direct sales anymore like it used to be. And I love direct sales, like that. And that's what we grew up in, right? So it's hard to change. And so that's one of the conversations I always have with my salesperson is like, how are we going to really bring in new business, and what's your talk track going to be, and how are we going to make it sound like you're not trying to sell somebody something, but how are we going to So anyway, one of my neighbors at the trade show, I was having a conversation with her, and she was, I would describe, the complete opposite to me. She was not born in Canada. Okay, so she, I'm just trying to think because I don't want to say who it was, but anyway, she, you know, she had an accent, she had a completely different vibe, and she was very, very, like, kind of, I'd say humble, didn't really, okay, like for me, I get up in my booth and I'm like, hey, how are you? And it's all about the glam jewels and let's feel sparkly and girl power and woohoo. She's had none of that, right? Just very like, hi, how are you? I'm okay. Da, da, da. Soft-spoken, humble, none of the showy stuff. And we were talking, and I said to her, so how's your website? Oh, I don't have a website. I said, so how are you generating all this business? And her booth is packed nonstop.
Really?
She says, well, I just, I get on the phone from 10 till 12 and I talk to people. And then I have lunch, and then I'm back on the phone from 1 till 3, and I talk to people. I have to talk to people all day because I don't want to miss anything. And then I make my pieces she does everything herself, make my pieces in the evening, and I ship them out, and that's how I run my business. And I'm actually thinking I'm not going to do trade shows anymore because I'm just too busy. I can't keep up.
Wow.
And I'm like, what is the magic? What is
it's person to person.
But it's like she is an opportunist. Like, I don't know what her background is. I don't know what her story is, but she's living here in Canada, and I am sure that she didn't come from a land of opportunity. Mm-hmm. And she sees the opportunity and she goes after it, and she probably doesn't let her ego get in the way with this idea of a failure. And somehow, without a website, without any type of social networking, just with picking up the phone, she's generating enough business to support herself.
Imagine person-to-person contact.
She doesn't have a husband. Yeah. Like, she's just
unbelievable. Wow.
Amazing.
That's but that's again the personality, right? Like talking to people. Mm-hmm. Can't hide behind social media. I think social media is part of a big strategy, but I still think that it's the human-to-human contact, especially when you're talking about fashion or beauty or anything that has to do with our personal investment in ourselves.
Right. That's right. And not feeling entitled or...
Yeah, exactly. Like get over yourself. If you want to succeed, you really have to get over yourself, right?
You do.
Yeah.
It's true.
I want to ask our listeners to share some great advice that they would give to the generation below, not the generation below them, a decade below them. Like if you're in your 40s, what would you tell your 30-year-old self? If you're in your 30s, what would you tell your 20-year-old self? If you're in your 50s, what would you tell us? So leave us a comment in the comment box and share some sage advice with us.
Yeah, do it. Okay, Jacqueline, you know what time it is.
Ding ding! Is it word of the week? Do you actually know if it's a noun or verb, or like are you gonna give me any hints here?
I don't want to know. I don't know. Let me decide what kind of a hint I'm gonna give you.
Oh, okay. Let's see what kind of
the
mood
pressure
you're in.
on me.
Okay.
Okay. So the word is lilt.
Lilt. Isn't that like a lilt in a voice or like a
ding 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 ding? You got it.
See, I won word of the week. Why don't you read it?
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, yes, it's a rhythmical swing, flow, or cadence to move musically or lively.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I am just nailing these.
You are really good. So my sentence was gonna be: I love Irish accents. They have a charming lilt.
Lilt.
Yes.
It's a lovely word. It's a nice light word.
What's your favorite accent? Do you have a favorite one?
To imitate?
To imitate or to, like, which accent would you say is the most beautiful? Like, those voices that are just so melodic and those...
I do like...
Not German? I'm just kidding.
It's so soft around the edges. I have to think about that. There's a Middle Eastern accent I love, and I'm trying to think of the actor who has it, and she's got a beautiful voice. I can't think of what it is, though. What about you? I have to think about that.
I do love Irish accents.
I like Irish.
I like the...
Yeah. I like a little Northern Ontario accent too. Eh?
Oh, me too. I love the Nova Scotia.
I do like the Nova Scotia accent.
Yeah, but it's funny. The Irish accent, it almost makes me feel like I could be their best friend. Like if I meet someone that's with an Irish accent, I want to go over to their house and sleep over and
eat soda bread.
And cuddle on the couch. It's like I trust them immediately.
Okay, if you're Irish, run. They're like, that whole kiss me if you're Irish, you stay the F away. That's just a t-shirt. Okay, our final topic for today. Adi. Is it okay to keep a life separate of your relationship, of your marriage?
Yes. That's a great topic.
This is a good topic. Interestingly enough, I read something that said if you get married before your mid-30s, you are likely to have a relationship very unified where you and your husband do most everything together. Because you, like if you got married in your 20s, it's kind of how you grew up. Like your 20s, you're still growing up. And this becomes what you know. Your marriage, your family becomes what you know. Whereas if you get married like me later in life, you're used to being independent. So you will likely have more of an independent marriage, which is very true of us.
Yeah, that's great. It's funny. Well, Wayne and I, we got together in our late 20s and we got married. He was 30 and I was 34 because I'm a cradle robber.
Right.
Yeah.
Good girl. At you.
But that our relationship is very much, we enjoy our time together, but we definitely have our separate stuff. And you know, when my dad was alive, he was always like, Monica, I don't think that's a good idea. Like, why are you going and having girls' weekends? And why are you...
Really?
You know, he couldn't get it because even my mom would say, I'm just going to buzz over to the mall and pick up some milk. And he'd go, well, wait a minute. Okay, I'll get the car. Right. You know, they did everything together. And I'm very proud of my mom because since my dad's passed away, she's really embraced... She's always been independent, even though
But now she's kind of like not afraid to do anything.
Yeah, she
on
just
her
picked up where she left off at 19 years old, where she met my dad. So, yeah, it's really, really good. But I don't know, you know, I think there's pros and cons. Like, I feel like Wayne's more of a homebody, so I will travel with my mom and I'll do my girls' weekends and all that stuff. But I think there is a little bit of a sadness that happens when I am away and I'll see something and I'll say, if he was here, he would love this. Like I do genuinely miss him, even though I'm enjoying like I'm enjoying that I'm doing things without him that maybe he wouldn't love to do or invest the time in, but then I have moments where I miss him and I know he's the same. Like he'll do things where he's like, well, I know you don't really like that, so I'll go do it with this person. And then he'll come home and he'll say, you know, I kind of wish you were there because you would have really enjoyed this part of the evening or whatever, right? Yeah. So, yeah, and I guess that's good because that's what keeps you bonded.
But you need to miss each other.
Yes,
you need to have stuff to talk about, and you need to have your own interests.
Yeah, so I shouldn't feel guilty about Florida once a month for a month every year.
Hell no, you should just feel guilty that you don't invite me. But
yes, I do.
But you know, like I think you have to have a lot in common, but you don't have to have everything in common. And for me, if I have the same interests as somebody, all my interests are the same, I kind of run out of stuff. Like, I want my own stuff. I want my own space. I want to be in a bubble sometimes. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because, like, with Greg, you know, we have different nights that we go out because we have Maddie. So he gets a few nights a week, or not a few, but, like, sometimes he's out twice a week. I'm usually out once a week, maybe twice if I have an event. And then, but we don't need to even go on date night because we spend all the rest of those nights together. But that's not a lot of nights left, so it's not like it's boring. It's not boring. And we have stuff to talk about, like, how was your night last night? Oh, I went and saw this play. It was really great. You would have thought this was amazing. I don't miss him because I'm having fun being out on my own. But I am happy that I have something to talk to him about. Yes. And I do have friends who think that, who are in younger marriages, who think that, you know, we should spend more time together. I'm like, no, you know what? I was on my own until I was 40. I can't do that. I feel smothered when I spend that much time with my partner, and I don't think that's a problem. Like, if I go out of town for like 3 or 4 days, I'm happy to come home and see him. I don't feel like I miss him, but I'm really happy to come back.
Yeah, that's good to hear that, because I have to say sometimes I fall into that trap, and maybe because Wayne and I did get together in our 20s, I'll look at other couples that spend all this time together, and I'll have, like, it's more of a guilt feeling where I feel like maybe I should be doing, like, maybe we should be like that.
But, like, why? I mean, that's like saying, okay, so Greg, when we actually have a night and we're going to watch TV together, and the nights he's out, I'll watch my own shows. Well, we'll sit down and go through what's on Netflix, and he'll say, okay, so don't watch that without me, don't watch that without me, don't watch... There's nothing I can watch, because he has an interest in absolutely every show I want to watch. Whereas, like, for me, I'm like, go ahead and watch all that without me. Like, if I can't, like, if you have an interest in everything that I want to watch, then I can't watch anything without you. If you have an interest in everything I want to do, then I can't do any of those things without feeling guilty that you're not there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm really glad that he loves to play pool and he loves to paint and do all these things. And I'm glad that I like to do my own thing. Because I don't want him to enjoy all my stuff with me, because then it's not private time for me.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, it is very, very important because, you know, one of two things are going to happen. We're either going to get divorced or somebody's going to die.
Yeah, well, apparently
right?
Someone dying is inevitable, but
yeah.
And according to StatsCan, maybe so it's divorce, but yeah, I know.
But it is important, like the investment that you make in yourself, because we came in alone and we're checking out alone. Like,
exactly.
So that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, we have to do that. But you know, like I think too, like talking about these guilty feelings too. It's sort of, you know, if you and I have a night together, Jacqueline, I'm like, right, I can't wait to see you. We go out, we have a great time. And then I feel like I almost need to give that same respect to Wayne, where it's like we're planning something. We're going to watch this movie together. We're going to eat this dinner together. We're going to talk about I guess my question is, why is it that with a husband it's more difficult to just be with him? Like sometimes I feel like, okay, I have a night with Wayne, so that means I can go on my laptop, I can answer some emails, I can look at my phone, I can kind of be into whatever he wants to watch, but I'm not really sure. But if you said to me, hey, I want to get together on like March the 20th, like that's the first available date I have.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to bring my phone to Toronto. I'm like, yes, I get Jacqueline for the whole night.
But that's a treat because you and I don't see each other every single day. Whether you have plans with your husband every night doesn't mean you still don't see them every day.
Yeah, that's
I still see Greg in the morning. I still see him at night. Like, you know, it's not, I'm not saying like that in a negative way. I just mean, I think the difference is that it's not new. It's not a novelty.
Yeah, right.
You like, you know, I don't know. And I don't think you should feel guilty about it, but I think there are couples who do all their stuff together, and that's great, but that's just not the relationship I have. My needs are different. I need my space.
Yeah.
I really do. Like, if I have to spend when we go up north for like 7 nights together, I'm like, that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
I'm going to need like just one afternoon. I want to go for a walk by myself. You know, especially when you have a small kid and you've got, you know, Boink who needs you all the time. Like,
I love her.
But you've got people relying on you all the time, and you just need that kind of, you know what, I just need me time. I just need to clear my head. So for me, it's a different lifestyle, but it's not a bad lifestyle. It's just a different lifestyle.
Right. So, not to get off topic, but when you were single, did you have a lot of alone time, or did you always try to fill the space by calling a friend, having a friend over?
I had so much alone time. Well, this Drinks at 6 started as a website I started when I was single. And it started as Solo Mag because I loved being single. Not because I don't love men, but because I really enjoyed my time. I would go out and explore the vineyards. I would spend my weekends. Like, I would go to Port Dover and lie on the beach for the day and go eat perch and drive back to Toronto. Like,
so in doing that on your own, did you like engage in conversation with other people?
Not
or
really.
You just
sometimes, but no, that wasn't my goal. My goal was just to enjoy. Also, I had a very like busy career. I worked in advertising, and it was very stressful. Like, I really relished
needed an escape,
the downtime, and I loved kind of getting in the car and just finding out where I would land. And then exploring and seeing what that was like. And so that's why I started the website. And, you know, it had to change because I got married. But I really enjoyed that. Like, I enjoyed experiences on my own. And I loved being with my friends, or having a friend to come with me was always great. But I could have done that alone. No problem.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, for me, I'm not that way. I'm more... when I was single, if I wasn't on the phone with a friend was over. Like
Okay.
I've never, not to say that I don't like being alone, because when I am alone, I actually enjoy it, but I don't voluntarily decide that I want to be alone. If I can fill this space with somebody else there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think maybe that's because I like what you're saying, how, you know, you need the time alone.
Yeah.
You need to have this Jacqueline time to put everything in perspective and be better for your husband, be better for Maddie, be better for your life, because you're getting time on your own. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I find too, like, I would never say to Wayne, so are you going out with your buddies tonight? Because I'd just like to be on my own.
Oh, yeah.
If
me
he's
too.
going out with his buddies, I'll call you, be like, Jacqueline, you want to go do something? I won't stay home alone. You know what I mean? And if I do, I work. I would never be home alone and put on a movie and just watch it by myself.
Well, I put on a movie, but I always have my laptop on.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, even though it's work, it's entertainment for me. I just like being involved. But it's funny, like one night, I can't remember why, I was home a lot for a couple of weeks. Like I just didn't go out. Might have been crappy winter time, and I just, you know, by the time he gets home, and Maddie's home from school, and then I can leave, I just am too tired, and it's cold out, and I don't want to go out. So one night, it was my Thursday night out, and I had no plans, and I thought, screw this, I'm just sick of sitting here.
Yeah.
So I took myself on a date, and I went bar hopping down Queen.
I love it.
Tried a few places that were either new or just we had never been to them, or they weren't Greg's kind of place, so he would never go with me. And I hadn't eaten dinner, so I went to like two little like restaurant bars, and I had a glass of wine and an appy at each of them. And then I took myself to the Nose, which is the Italian place, because I love their like Brussels sprout slaw. And I had dinner there up at the bar by myself with a couple glasses of wine. It was like an awesome date night.
See, that's great. I need to do that more. You know what I did was I was going up to the cottage with my mom and dad, and I saw that the Matthew Good Band was playing at the Key to Bala, and Wayne wasn't with me. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know. But anyway, and I'm like, well, I got to go to that show. I love that band. So I just went by myself.
Good for you.
And it was amazing. And those times where I think, you know what, you've inspired me to do that stuff again. I just I'm not coming from a place of, I don't want to be alone, I'm scared to be alone. I actually love it, but it's like a self-worth thing. It's like, well, if I have time, I should actually spend it with that friend because I haven't seen her in a while. Or I should spend it with this guy because I haven't, you know.
Yeah, I used to do that, but that's part of the
this is the I'm
shit
done
I
with
don't care about anymore.
I'm taking myself out on a hot date.
You should. I'm actually starting up a site, an area on my site, because I did this so much, and there's so many really cool things that you can do in the crazy little towns across Ontario. So I started writing this thing called, it's like trips on a tank, adventures you can go on in a tank of gas. But it was more off the beaten path stuff. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to pull out some of that cool stuff I used to find and post it on my site. And I think like once every week or two, I'm going to post a cool idea for people to try, like dog sledding in Cochrane, or swimming with polar bears in Cochrane. You can dog sled in Collingwood, not this time of year maybe, but zip lining, like yoga in the vineyard. You can stay on a chicken farm and learn how to like feed them and whatever. You may not want to kill them, but I don't know if you have to, but like it's a cooking farm. Like you learn how to, cook. There's amazing eco-adventure lodges up north.
Be fantastic.
There's really high-end salmon fishing lodges in northern Quebec and Ontario that are really expensive but amazing. Like, and then there's like some overnight cowgirl adventures where you go riding and then you sleep in a tent, and there's yurt adventures. Like, there is so much cool shit to do.
There is. I don't know if we have enough time on this podcast maybe we'll leave it for the next one, but I'd love to tell everyone about my experience at the Ice Hotel in Quebec City.
Let's do it in the next podcast.
Yeah, let's do it in the next one.
It's a teaser.
That's a teaser.
Before we go, I want to talk about the girls, geeks, and gadgets. Because, a lot of what we're trying to let go of, the stuff we're kissing off, is stuff that causes us stress and unpleasantries in our life. There is something called the Think system, THYNCK. It's always got to have some cool digi name. Anyway, you stick it on your head.
So you may not like our last podcast where you stick
No, you don't stick it up your hooch. You stick this one on your forehead, but you may not want to walk around like this because it'll make you look like a new mama who's got kid crap on your face and you don't know it. Anyway, so what this thing does is it sends vibes to your scalp or whatever. Anyway, every 5 minutes, these vibes deliver calm or energy. And it lasts for I think as little as 5 minutes. So the effects last for up to an hour. And anyway, it's kind of cool because I love wearable technology. I love what people are doing with it. But this is kind of like that. I can imagine it being, it's a little pricey, but I can imagine it being, even while it's delivering the vibes of calm or energy, it's also bringing you into the moment because you can feel it, right?
Yeah.
So you're kind of focused on what you need. Anyway, I'll post the link for it. I think it's really cool. If I had that kind of money, disposable money that I could burn, I would definitely, I'd try it. I might actually put it on my birthday list. See if anyone I know that loves me will buy it.
Better write that down.
Anyway, it's weird that we're talking about this because all this stuff we just talked about, because the topic was, being in a relationship and being independent. And then we got into this whole girl getaway stuff, which was a lot of fun.
I love it. And you know what? I love your idea about, because even though you're married and you have a child and all that stuff, Solo Mag was awesome, and you have a fantastic perspective on being single, and I think...
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's great.
I think you have to enjoy it because then you get married and you don't have that time to yourself anymore. When do you ever get that time again? You will later in life, I'm sure, but I just, when you have all that energy and money to spend on yourself and, nothing to lose, what a great time to go out and do it. Anyway, that was so much fun. I'm glad that we talked about that. We've got some interesting topics next week.
Yes,
We're going to talk about one I hate, which is, do you have a good relationship with your bank account? I can tell you right now, I don't. We're divorcing. What would you do if you weren't afraid? I think that one's going to be really fun because I can imagine a ton of stuff that I would do. But and then the last topic, I'm not going to tell you what it's about. I'm just going to tell you that the topic is a time for wine. So anyway, I want to wrap on that note and just invite you all to listen to us next week and give us your feedback. If you got any images, shoot them, hashtag them, drinks at 6, and send us your comments and feedback because we're always looking for fun new topics and we want to know what's on your mind because you know what's on ours.
Cheers, everyone.
Thanks for listening to Drinks at 6.